Good evening. It's 7:24 p.m. It is June 21st, and it is Wednesday evening. So I wanted to come on here and make this video. I had deviated from my schedule today, which, I think if someone knows me, they know that when I deviate from my schedule, I get a little frustrated because I'm very hard on myself, But after a while, I just kind of relaxed and just accepted that I couldn't do what I needed to do and dealt with it and moved on, and my mood kind of shifted. The good part is that I did get to see my son today, spend some time with him, and I was thinking a lot today about, I made a video earlier today, a very heartfelt video because, I've dealt with this issue for so long, and in spite of me making many videos talking about it, over 1,000, there were still people having resentments, need this need to be in competition with me. And the issue is that I understand toxic relationships, and this is what I've been talking about in my videos for the longest time, okay? Identifying each person and their toxicity and their role that was a part of this whole gang stalking thing. When people make the recommendation, like for example, therapists sometimes will recommend that, maybe if this person can go no contact, they should go no contact. I'm going to go no contact, and I'm going to tell you why, okay? There is no emotional bond with somebody who can abuse you that way, okay? And the explanations for it, the reasons, the motives, the selfishness behind it, the racism behind it, it's so sick and twisted. I don't know how anybody could have ever participated in this unless, of course, they're evil too, okay? Because it was straight out evil, okay? So that makes me sick to my stomach, so sick to my stomach that this has caused me serious trauma. That's one issue, okay? So my point is that while I was out today, I did get to step out of the house, which was good, okay? And it was a bright sunny day, first day of summer. So I went to the store, and I was helping my son get a outfit for an interview he had. And I start reflecting back to my days, because he's about the age that I remember, like, always looking forward to going to job interviews. This is a new start, a new beginning, blah, 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 blah. And I believed that that there was so much to contribute and so much to care about in the workplace. Now, I think a lot of people have been disillusioned, because I know there's a lot of people who have become humdrum and have lost enthusiasm for whatever path that they've chosen. And it's the sad part is, it's not that you don't appreciate the idea of performing certain tasks or the area of whatever it is, okay? And I'm going to be honest, right now in my life, I feel as though my interests are shifting. They are shifting, okay? When I first got into accounting, I was really happy with myself because this is something I learned a little bit in high school. Then I got some, learning, I got some training through schooling. But for the most part, I started taking on a lot on my own, and I was proud of myself because, here I was, a person who struggled, and at least I had a job and I was able to maintain it and perform the task well, okay? Based on my limitations, I was very happy with myself, and I was very happy to have these, go to job interviews. I was very excited to, follow up. I was always excited to experience a new challenge, and what made me lose drive, okay? It is not the task, but it's the environment and the accommodating of bullying behavior. And I've been thinking about this for a very, very long time. Since I left the barber's place, I have been thinking a lot about human nature, because over this time period, I was reflecting a lot on this repeated pattern that I didn't even quite understand everyone who was involved at the time, okay? But I was thinking about human nature. How is it that we're aware of this? Sorry, I had a cayenne pepper pill, and it went down my throat wrong. We're aware that certain things are wrong, but we go along with it anyway. I'm not saying we, okay, because I don't get involved with herd mentality, but you'll see so-called decent people do horrible, wicked things, completely participating in it, okay, knowing that these rules are wrong, knowing that they do not mind traumatizing. I mean, the awareness of what people instinctively do, what I'm observing, what they instinctively do, their behavior, how they, and the cognitive dissonance. That's something that fascinates me so much, because they'll have a conversation, they'll sit there and they're trying to convince me that they're trustworthy and that they're, they have integrity and all this other stuff, but yet they're a part of this perp chain that is willing to literally create some form of genocide. Okay? So when I'm seeing this dualistic behavior in people, it gets me going. It's seriously something that should be studied, to be analyzed, to be discussed among people, because this is a social, if you think about this is a social experiment. Look at it. Look at what it proves, and I've said this before, okay, and I'm going to say it again, okay? It proves so much about people, their inability to know what it is that they truly believe, their stances on things, Oh, they don't believe in this because they're Christians, but at the same time, they're willing to get involved in an underground genocide attempt. Because that's exactly what that is. Okay? These form of operations, which I've said over and over and over again, I've talked about the laws behind it, I've talked about the religious aspect of it, I've talked about all of it. You've heard it for over 5 years. Over 1,000 videos. Wickedness, wickedness, wickedness. We all know that my ex-husband had some sort of racial issue, yet but people still wanted me to force me to be with him. What the fuck's wrong with you? Seriously. Okay? So my thing is, I'm looking at the work environment. Okay? I'm looking at the work environment. Why does it fail? Why does it fail? It fails all the fucking time. You see kids who are so fucking excited to go. I've seen these people. I can't wait to go so-and-so, we're going to BYU, and they get their little education, and they intern, they get to workplace, and they get so fucking fed up with all the drama that they're not happy about what they're having to do every day. Okay? Even though they might have this particular interest in this particular field, why did it go to, I'm so interested, into, I can't stand looking at this shit. And I do anything I possibly can to come in late for work, to try to postpone certain things or whatever. The drive is gone. Why does it go away? It's this politics. You know what I mean? It's a crappy shit that you have to deal with, the interactions with the people. It's always some sort of drama. It's always diverting your attention away from what is the most important thing, is the skill that you're supposed to develop and thrive with. Okay? It's like, I've been thinking, so today I was getting really the years just started going by, and I started really thinking like, oh my fucking God, like, does he know how much pain the workplace causes? That was exactly what was going through my mind. You know what I mean? The politics, the drama, the little girl with her side remarks, the little jabs here, the fucking gossip here, the bullshit, the lying in your face, acting like you're so credible. Okay? Meanwhile, you're part of a genocide plot. Okay? All of that shit, to me, I can't be like that. Okay? So, but the human nature thing, okay, is something that fascinates me. And it's been fascinating me even more and more each year, after every single mobbing, going back to the 90s, okay? Every single time that this shit has happened, I have sat back and thought about the behavior of the people, the dualistic things that come out of their mouth, okay? The contradiction between what they believe politically, what they believe religiously. These so-called educated people are the fucking dumbest people I know. Or they're the evil people, the most evil people I know, because you are supposed to know better. Okay? When a person says, I'm educated, I expect you to behave and act better. You're supposed to be an upper crust, like a little step above the rest. You're not. Okay? This is what bothers me the most, is that I had witnessed something and I became overly sensitized by what I was observing, you know? And I'm articulating it now. Okay? We live in a very sick, twisted world, and it's my goal to not adhere to the views of society. Now, some people might say, that's a rebel. Well, I'm well within the law. Actually, the law is on my side. Okay? Because what was enacted on me was not. You know? And so, what I'm saying is that, you know, to each his own. Okay? But don't interfere with my life. Okay? Stay out of it. You may not like the way I live. You might think that I might be better off baking cookies for somebody. Okay? But that person that I'm baking cookies for could very well be abusing me. I'm a woman all by herself. Okay? Women don't need this sort of bullshit being played out on them. Having their lives played for sport. Okay? There's a lot of targeted individual women who are complaining about the same thing. Not just black women. Okay? A lot of women get attacked like this. Okay? Like they get married and their husband can sit here and play fucking games with them all the time. That's illegal! What the hell? If there's a marital issue, you should have taken that up when you had the opportunity to go to court. Okay? You don't handle it through the employment system, but you know what? You got all these people who are white supremacists, because obviously that motherfucker doesn't deserve any support. Okay? But guess what? You'll support him. Okay? I'm a brave woman, okay? I can sit here and say that, and I understand. People are like, oh, she's political. No, I'm not. I'm standing up for myself. Okay? If I was political, I would be doing more. I'd be more active, okay? I would be possibly trying to create some sort of getting more people recruiting, that kind of stuff. I'm not doing that, okay? But I am acknowledging something. I'm acknowledging something very important. Very important. You know, I'm talking about the human nature of people. You know, I'm talking about the ignorance in people. I think that either ignorance or evil, okay? I think as the American people, because this went through the United States, okay? But the American people, and this is sad to say, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't. You know? As people like me feel like I'm aware that I'm among people who can harm me, who don't have a problem or a conscience about harming me. You know? So I have to take care of myself. And another issue with the workplace is people aren't protected. They're not protected. You know, people don't know how to divide and make sure that business and their personal lives do not affect one another. This is exactly the reason why people like me get in these situations. Okay? And for the Department of Human Trafficking that could just sit there and not do anything, this is exactly the components of what creates a targeted individual, what creates or defines human trafficking. Okay? Exactly. It doesn't matter if you're thinking, well, that's impossible because a big name person was involved in this. Exactly. A big name person are the kind of people who can orchestrate something like this. Now, don't get me wrong. I think this dude's awesome, okay? And I was actually going to reference one of his songs, but I decided to not do that. But my point is that the issue of human nature in the workplace, I've been questioning whether or not, I don't really believe the workplace is natural. I don't believe it. I actually wrote a little pamphlet on it. Maybe I might discuss that some other time. And I'm working on a lot of different things all at one time, and I really want to just express myself. And yes, I do want to express myself. Karen, Roxanne, Craig, Steve Murray. Hey, if you're not as expressive as me and you resent that, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? If you want me to be somebody who's just peaceful and quiet and you're comparing me to other people, you think you prefer people to be more whatever, well then like those kind of people, stay the hell away from me. Okay? This is who I am. You don't like my YouTube channel, then don't watch it, but you don't have the right to block it. You don't have the right to sit here and silence me. I'm not going to sit here and make people rise up and start a revolution to do what? So they can sit here and be at home and protect and and enjoy the peace of their home. I'm not a rioter. I'm not somebody who's trying to stir up anything. I'm just saying is that you guys are corrupt, and you were trying to force me into something that was causing me severe trauma. It would have caused me even more trauma if that would have ended up happening. Okay? And you knew it. You knew it. Okay? And I'm just basically saying, you know what? I need to talk about that. Okay? I need to talk about what happened to me. What it feels like when somebody could literally take control of what it is that you do and force you to do something you don't want to do. Or be a part of something, or maybe even have the power to, or the illegal power to try to force you into some sort of marriage or something. You know what I mean? That's horrifying. Okay, that's exactly what shocked me so much, the most about this whole thing. You know, while everybody was sitting here gossiping, talking about who they thought Maria was in love with, I'm going to tell you what. I just recently found out that Mr. Great Singer dude was involved in this. Okay, I was back in January. That's when I found out. All the other times, I was running for my fucking life. So when you bring a white person involved in this, all they think about is that this black woman wants this white man. And that's all that they think, and no matter how evil that person is. Now, I'm not saying this man is evil, because I don't know if the Great Singer dude is evil or not. I have no idea. Okay? But I will tell you what, the other people involved in this were, and you think because they're white that I'm going to be just like, oh, fuck, dude, I'm going to want you anyway, regardless of how you treat me. You know, it's the white supremacy mentality that made people think that. It is. Okay, it is a very, very ingrained thought, belief in people. And I will talk about that one day in my video. Okay, I'm doing more and more. Like, you know, and this is how I work and this is how I operate. I like doing this part, this part, this part, this part when it comes to me. You know, the problem with it is that I deal with so much depression that a lot of times my depression prevents me from posting that video. Prevents me from, you know, and then, you know, also prevents me more than anything else is that these people block me. Okay, I will tell you, if you are being silenced on social media, please be careful. And this is a warning to you, because if you're being blocked, and some, you know, or your social media numbers or the expectations are not. You're not meeting your expectations in social media. When you, deep down inside, you know good and well you are supposed to. Okay, you're being blocked. Somebody is doing something against you. Okay, and if they're doing something against you on social media, okay, there is some sort of conspiracy against you, and you need to find out what it is. These people are goddamn corrupt. And I'm saying it right now. You're fucking corrupt. You know, you think when you wipe out a person, okay, or try to make them obsolete within society, something's wrong there. Okay, and I personally think, and it's been told to me before, that my ex-husband wanted me dead. I heard that. And I'm not going to say who said it, but I'm aware of it. So, these sort of things, these little overt things, covert type, secretive type things, you gotta open your eyes to it. It's a form of genocide, is what it is. Okay? And me understanding what that is. Okay? Now maybe let's just say for example, my next door neighbors, the neighbors in here got involved, okay? Because they only saw the surface of it. They only thought about the religious aspect of it. Okay? They're giving her a hard time because she doesn't go to church. Okay? That's all. They don't think about how deep it really is. It is that fucking deep. Okay? It is that fucking deep. This is why they're trying to silence me. Okay? They don't like what I'm saying. Well, I'm sorry. And I don't like what you did. You know? Anyway, so, do I think the workplace is natural? No, I don't. But how do you function in a workplace? How do you function in a workplace where you're dealing with people who are only operating on instinct? You know what I mean? And they always fall into their instinctive behavior. Okay, regardless of the rules. Regardless of whatever. So how does it work? And I understand, you know, some people are at the point where they're like, fuck it, it doesn't work. They don't think about the science behind it. They're just like, you know what? This has happened at this place, this has happened at that place, it's happened so many times, You know, some people say, fuck it, I'm just going to start my own business. And I totally get it. A lot of people are doing that because the workplace is a place that's just nothing but drama, and we all know how the inequities that go on. Okay, and I started understanding that when I was got into the workforce, because I remember saying, you know, and I'm talking about regular people. I understand certain people get more than other people, and I understand that. Okay, but when you start understanding how all that works, the reasons why, and everything, it is not necessarily about their qualifications. It's not necessarily, it's just like, okay, then why is it, I'm looking at myself now, and I'm thinking, why is it that I thought going to work was such a great thing? Why did I think that? Why? Because I guess I wanted something to apply myself to. You know, I like my mind. My mind's kind of constantly moving, you know, so I wanted to contribute. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a part of something, of working it, and I liked that part of it. But it always ends up turning like a complete mess. Now, is that because if I was to take these perps that have been like following me all these places, okay, like follow me around, corrupting the work environment, would it have been different? I wonder that every day. But then again, I'm looking at what other people are saying, and maybe their stories are not as severe as mine, but there's still a lot of unhappy people in the workplace. Okay. What I am thinking right now, here's my hypothesis for now, until I start really studying this a little bit further. I personally I don't believe at this point that going to work is natural. I don't believe that, you know, it's normal for people to be working alongside each other in the manner that they do. Now, I understand if you think about tribes, or certain communities, communes, whatever, in different countries and also, I understand that people do have this certain work thing, okay? It's usually women are separated most of the time from what the men do, right? I mean, and you start looking at things, but there's always tension. There's always some woman fucking unhappy with herself. She's gonna fucking lash out and scream and like, you know, bully this other person because she doesn't fucking like herself. And so somehow that's your fucking problem. And I go into this whole issue about how I personally think, you know, the world is hell. I do think it is hell, and I think that now that I'm older, I think the workplace is the biggest representation of what that is. Seriously. You know, I have only seen bad shit in the workplace. Okay? And all the nice things that I've seen has all been fake and phony. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? I'm a realist, okay? And so what they want to conform me to be either is somebody who's dumb, somebody who doesn't acknowledge what I'm going through. Because most people, they don't think about it. They don't. And for many years, I didn't get it in my head that I was being followed, that I was being harassed, and I was losing jobs because of the same fucking person over and over again. Okay, I just knew that people were getting, you know, irrational, they would behave a certain way, but I didn't quite put it all together. I get it now, okay? But still, you know, it's like, I dealt with so much. So much. And, you know, I'm looking back now and I'm thinking, God, you know, that was my everyday existence. You know, the workplace is a very bad place to be. And I was thinking about, like, you know, me and my son were talking, and like I said, you know, I encourage my son, and I want him to be brave, and I want him to go on with life and look at things, like, optimistically and everything. I'm going to tell you, at this point, I don't feel that way anymore. I don't feel that way anymore. You know, I look at the workplace as a fucking joke, basically run by ass clowns and people that want to con you and fucking like bully you or take out their aggressions with you, or, you know, settle some sort of agenda that they have in their mind or competition that they have in their mind. Look, you know, when it comes to people like Roxanna, I haven't seen Roxanna since 2009. The last time I remember having a conversation with her, like I said, I met her up with her, and it wasn't on purpose. I got back into Bakersfield in 2009, so I don't know what I was doing at Oildale. Oh, I know I was doing Oildale that day. Okay, I've always liked Oildale's 99-cent store far better than I like the one here in this area, all these surrounding areas. So I saw her there. She was getting a calendar. We talked briefly, and that was it. Okay, but before that, the last time I actually physically saw her was the day that I left my workplace. And I remember her putting her arm around me, telling me when she was giving me a great reference, blah, 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 blah. The next thing you know, I'm fucking blacklisted, and I'm being fucking bullied and all this other bullshit. Okay? In my mind, it's like, I'm dealing with, like, the massive trauma of somebody who fucking, like, literally had some sort of agenda, some vendetta against me, and just wanted to harm me. For the fucking fun of it. You know? And talking about, like, converting people, let me explain something to people like Karen and everything. I think, you know, look, what you might think of, because Karen grew up, you know, probably with a silver spoon in her mouth. And I do remember her dad. I remember her meeting her dad. Her dad was in his 90s, I believe, when I met him. And I kept thinking, he is a remarkably handsome man. No, I was not lusting after this man. I just remember looking at his bone structure, the way he was walking. For a 90-year-old man, he was completely mobile. And you know what? He was living. He was a thriving man. So I kept thinking, he's a blessed man. That's in the back of my mind. I kept thinking, that's cool. That's great, actually, to be able to be functional at that age. Okay? But she probably grew up with privileges. You know, she understands the privileged life. When you are a white person, you do have privileges. And this issue, among all this, the other social study issue, this issue proves it. Okay? This issue proves that white people have privileges. Privileges that are unspeakable, that they deny every day. They act like, oh, you know, America, this is equality. Black people are becoming equal. They get things, and I am not a political person bringing this up because I'm trying to create a revolution or anything like that. I want to be understood right here. Okay? I understand we do live in hell. Okay? This planet is fucking hell. Okay? But what Karen does is she thinks that everybody wants to have what white people have. I will tell you, that's not true. Now, when I was little, I used to look at people like Marsha Brady, the Brady Bunch. Okay, I never really thought. I understood they were a white family, but it wasn't so much what I wanted with a white family. What I wanted the kindness, the sweetness. I wanted the potato sack races. I wanted to, be the cheerleader. I wanted to be like what Marsha, the embodiment of what Marsha represented. Okay, I didn't necessarily want the blonde hair. I don't care about all of that. Okay. But what people want is they want to be able to go to work without being harassed. They want to be able to wear their hair without fucking people questioning or pointing at it or talking about it or debating whether they should have it or not. Okay? In the United States of America. Okay, slavery was over in 1865, okay? Seriously. Don't fucking tell me how to live my life. Okay? Also, when I was younger, to me, I think I've talked to a lot of minority people, okay? A lot of minority people will say they thought white was normal because everybody on your TV set is white. Your TV shows are white. Even the cute little comic strips that you watch. Charlie Brown, Linus, Lucy, Peppermint Patty, you love them all, but they're white. I never thought of them that way. They were just characters. They were cute characters. They looked about my age. They're kids. They're in school. I'm in school. They deal with the same bullshit that I do, except for having a dog that actually talks and interacts with them. Okay? I didn't have that, which I did, but I didn't. Okay? But anyway, what I'm saying is that, what you like, what you do, the hobbies that I have might be very similar to what white people do. Okay? But I understand what white is. Okay? White people can do things, unspeakable things, and get away with it. Okay? This is not me, but I'm just saying, as a part of the social spirit, when you analyze this issue proves it. Okay? And that is what white is to me. Okay? I don't envy what you guys eat. Okay? I've made jokes about this before. It's kind of bland. You guys don't use enough salt, pepper, spices, whatever. Okay? But anyway, I don't admire what you guys do. I don't like the way I don't like your traditions. I don't like the conservative lifestyle, all of these things. But for some reason you think that I'm looking at you as a white person and I'm supposed to sit here and want to emulate you. No, I do not. Just because I grew up listening to Dean Martin, which is a smooth man, by the way. Just because I grew up listening to Dean Martin and I listened to the Beatles and I grew up with an eclectic thing does not mean that I want to be a wicked person or emulate that. Okay? Because that's, to me, exactly what that is. That sort of behavior is what that is. What I want to do is, which I foolishly thought I could do, was go to work, make a job, and make a living without fucking being harassed out of every single job, and having people accommodating that sort of stuff. Is what I thought. Okay, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, I wasn't aware I lived in the United States of America. What it really means to live in the United States of America. My mistake. So anyway. No, I am a very expressive person, and this is what I want to do. This is who I am. And when I think about the person who I really am, this is what excites me. This is what the things I gravitate towards is not sitting here, but like I said, when I was younger, I loved being in the office. And don't get me wrong, the office work is fun. Okay, it is. Okay, but I am somebody who likes to express themselves. I do like writing. I do like talking. I like informing people of things. And so it really pissed me off that, hey, you didn't think I had the right to do that in the United States. And why do you think you're entitled to make that decision? Because you're white. You can just squash out people's shit anytime you fucking want to. Now, I grew up in a middle class home. I never wanted for anything. Now, my parents grew up poor, okay? But my dad, he was able to manage. He had a decent job. So I always had nice Christmases. I always had nice clothes. I had a wardrobe. I grew up with wardrobes, meaning like I had separate clothes. I got my work clothes. My play clothes. I had my school clothes. The rare times that we did go to Sunday school, yes, I did have a certain special wardrobe for that too. So I didn't grow up poor like that. But I remember when I was younger, I used to look at a lot of African American kids who didn't have it as easy as I did. Okay, and I remember thinking to myself, well, that's a shame. They should go out and get a job and blah, 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 because I didn't understand. Okay, now as an adult and understanding the racism that goes on in the workplace, why the fuck should they? Why the fuck should they sit there and try to go get a job? Why should they try to elevate themselves? Because there's always somebody saying, fuck you, you can't do it, and I'm going to fucking block you every step of the way. Now, I understand that. Now, that's not me saying that people shouldn't try to make their life better. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? But there's a lot of things I didn't quite understand. Exactly what white was. I didn't understand that. Now, don't get me wrong, like I said, hey, I love the Beatles. Love the Bee Gees. Hey, I even love country music. I love it all. Okay? Which I can't wait to talk about my music video. And if you guys watch it, great. If you don't, whatever, I made it for my own self. But, yeah, I do love those things. I recognize a good artist, and I don't have to sit here and think, well, you know what, I'm not going to like him because he's white. I'm not going to do that. If it appeals to me, if I can understand the lyrics, if the lyrics resonate with me, if it's something that I've experienced, everybody's experienced pain. That melancholy that you deal with, that hurt, that heart, that pain that you experience when you grow up and you start looking at the world and you think how disappointed you are. When you can express certain things well, I'm going to listen to that. I don't care if it's country, I don't care if it's fucking rock, I don't care whatever. How the lyrics, the music, there's a lot that goes into a good song, okay? And whatever it is, I'm going to appreciate it, regardless, okay? That's not being white. That's being eclectic. And in this video that I'm getting ready to make, I was bringing out a point, okay? Because I know people talk shit, and when they talk shit about your taste in music as a black woman, what they're really saying is, I don't want you doing that, and I don't, and you can't do that. Telling you what you can and cannot like. This is how dehumanizing they can get, okay? But when I was growing up, I had quote unquote white friends who loved Michael Jackson. Okay, who liked listening to Michael Jackson, but they had a shitload of Sammy Hagar albums and shit. But my point is that they're eclectic. They could listen to R&B, they can listen to this, they can listen to country, they can do it, and they're eclectic. They have eclectic music record album. But if I have an eclectic music album, I'm supposed to be white. I'm trying to be white. Like I said, hey, no, I'm not trying to be white. I'm trying to enjoy myself. I'm trying to enjoy some music. You know, and enjoy an artist regardless of what color he is, okay? Like I said, I know what white is. I'm gonna wrap up this video, be back with another one some other time later. Take care.